That girl is poison.
Mm.
That girl is poison.
Poison!
Yours is better.
She's driving me out of my mind. I have to, like, clamp my balls to be able to do that.
Oh, well, okay. Hey, whatever it takes to... The show must go on, you know?
Well, you know, I don't think that... It's, like, amazing what you can do when, like, you're younger and you don't have balls yet or something.
Yeah, like pre-menudo. Like, you know, when... They say it was a myth or whatever that if you hit pre-menudo, you had to quit menudo.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, how many menudo? There were a lot. You know, we didn't see nearly the amount of menudo that actually exists.
Yeah.
Menudo was around for, it started 30 years ago.
Dang.
And basically what happens is that when a member turns 16, they have to leave, and the entry is 13. So that's how
that's a short window.
Well, that's how they keep the consistency of the voices kind of before they break.
Right.
So as far
There's
as
so many really,
it was actually more like an enterprise, if you will. It was a business. It's just like all the boy bands.
Yeah, exactly. All the studio creations.
Yeah, it was the making the band before making the band.
Before making the band.
Yeah. Well, no, there was that show that they did on
I know
ABC.
the one that had Old Town, which I think was a flash in the pan.
I did like that song, though. They did have a couple of songs.
They had one song.
Bad.
I like that one song.
Well,
no, there were
the
two.
one song that you heard, because not much came out after that. It's kind of like American Idol.
There were two. I can't remember the name of the second one, but
that's why it's so memorable, because you can't think of it.
Yeah.
Well, no, but the first one's more. Well, I can't remember it because it was like more of a ballad thing.
Again,
I can't remember what movie it is. I'll go look it up. There were two. They had two.
I mean, I don't care, but yeah, all right.
I know, but I know because I could do the one song, "My Liquid Dreams," you know. Where they're talking about all, like, the hottest chicks of, like, I can't remember, it was the 2000s or something.
Okay.
All right, speaking of hot chicks, let's introduce ourselves and start the show.
Hi. Oh, no. What am I supposed to say?
Hey, welcome, everyone. Episode 104, Squares Round Table. Thanks for listening. I'm Mike, and with me is Ivan.
Hey, how we doing? I'm a Virgo, and I like walks on the sand. And, of course, Jeff.
And Jeff.
Hello.
It's a dating game? Or?
I didn't realize I needed to know my horoscope today. Jesus Christ. Bachelor number one, when you go walking on the sand, do you wear shoes or sandals?
I'm in my bare feet, along with the rest of me.
When you're wearing your bare feet, do you worry about rocks or crabs?
Only the ones that walk.
Bachelor number two, I have a question.
Okay.
If you were a cat, what kind of cat would you be?
Be the long cat. I don't know. The long cat. I don't know.
Long cat.
Long, and I'm strong. Time to get the friction on.
Yeah.
God.
All right.
Tell him what he's won. There we go.
Yeah, it's parting gifts. What's his parting gifts? The home game set.
Yeah, you know.
Did either of you guys see that Don't thing on ABC?
Don't.
That Ryan Reynolds.
Don't.
Really? Okay. The Ryan Reynolds game show thing?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. I mean, I didn't.
Right.
No, I don't.
There's a part of you. Yeah. Well, okay. Try to make conversation. It's gonna be that night, right?
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have you guys stand in place and get hit by tires.
We're sheltering in place. Like we're getting tired of sheltering in place. That's a problem. We need to get out. Need to get out some. Get out and we've had some nice weather.
Well, yeah, I've gotten out to the back porch, down the stairs to take out the garbage, getting the letters, and let me see,
getting the letters.
Yeah, getting the letters from the mailbox.
Oh, I was going to say, are you like chasing the letter P down the street?
The letters, yeah.
Oh, okay, yes.
Come back here, W.
This is the Squares of the Round Table, which is brought to you by the letter T and
A.
T and A. There you go. Better yet.
There you go. Yeah, man.
Oh, I thought it was brought to you by the letters F, U, C, and K.
Yeah.
No, they only have 2 letters on a show, dude. So it had to be F-U.
And the number. They have 2 letters and number.
F-U and 69, right?
Yeah, I knew that was going to come out of you.
I don't know. Look, anytime there's 69, something's going to come out of me. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Wow.
Okay.
Can we start over?
Yeah,
it's not going well.
Yeah.
Not going well.
It's
going somewhere.
It's going south.
The hell of a handbasket.
This could be that show.
So, how was your week, Jeff?
Yeah, we'll start with Jeff.
I'm finishing up the ESPN 30 for 30, the long gone thing, the Sosa McGwire thing about the home run race. In fairness, not recommended at all. Not one bit. I'm only watching it right now because I want to see how bad it is.
So it's like as bad as The Last Dance. Okay.
Well, no, The Last Dance is far better than this. This is far worse. This was supposedly, and part of it is, so ESPN kind of marketed this thing as about Sosa, McGwire, and the home run chase of 1998. And instead, we've really gotten is...
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's just take Sammy Sosa for all he's worth. Let's exploit him to the point where he does all this greatness, and then we toss him out on his can under the guise of steroids. It's a bunch of...
Well, no, we don't even get that far. So it's funny, actually I haven't gotten that far in it, but they call it about the home run chase, but really in reality, it's like, hey, we want to talk about Mark McGwire in 1998, so I guess we'll throw in a little bit about Sammy Sosa at the time too.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they really don't talk about.
Is it biased towards McGwire then?
It's pretty much all about St. Louis and McGwire and his run to 70, which, I mean, it's just interesting to me because it's like, I look at it and I'm like, it just seems like everything about Sammy Sosa's kind of shoehorned in around everything having to do with Mark McGwire.
Shoehorned in. You know why he's shoehorned in? It's simple, okay? You have a guy who was an immigrant. You had a guy that, wasn't an American per se, okay? And then he goes ahead and he's kicking ass and taking names on the baseball field. And, of course, Mark McGwire, who is the, all-American hero, who is doing the very same thing. Oh, how would it be for Cooperstown to go ahead and say, oh, these home run records could be broken by an immigrant and not even an American citizen? How would that look on their walls? Oh, no.
Well, the other part is...
Let me finish. My point is that Sammy Sosa, with the cork bat and the steroids and all this other BS, which of course has beset many a different baseball player. Okay, it comes down to the fact that after the big to-do with baseball, which I'm also finding out that the Ricketts is hosting the re-election campaign of a one president right now, which I read that article, which now I will never go to a Cubs game ever again. So the point of the matter being is, yeah, Sammy got shit on, okay? And the fact that Sammy got shit on under the guise of all this stuff that happened to him and then literally forgotten, you know, and it just reeks of the whole situation with The Last Dance, where it was the Jordan show and everybody else.
Yeah, so you've taken a lot of stuff and you've put it, you've made a narrative, and in fairness, some of it I agree with, but let me give you a little bit, and let me kind of play around a little in here,
well,
give
me some perspective.
And it's funny because I was thinking about this the other day. Which is, you know, again, here's an example of where I kind of laugh. My radio career was not the most spectacular, but I seemed to be around. But I seemed to be around for the late '90s Bulls and the 1998 home run race between Sosa and McGwire. That I literally was at a ton of games that year. And when I say a ton, that included game 163, in which the Cubs had to play in to get to the playoffs that year.
Yeah.
Which, here's an example of why this 30 for 30 documentary stinks, which is, for some strange reason, at no point, they kind of like humdrum game 163. It's like, it's a 162 game season. You're humdrumming the fact that the Cubs had to play a tiebreaker to get into the playoffs, and the playoffs are kind of like, oh yeah, whatever. I mean, it's like, what? I mean, while McGwire was doing this, and don't get me wrong, everything that McGwire did was great. There's a reason that Sosa won the MVP, and the reason that Sosa won the MVP was the Cubs were in it for a wild card spot, and that team was winning. And that team that team won 90 games that year.
Right.
You know? So, I mean, the only reason that people forget it is, unfortunately, as soon as they get out of the play-in game to go play the wild card series, they unfortunately ran into the Atlanta Braves with Smoltz and Glavine and Maddox and
everybody else. Yeah, to taking names. I get it.
Right. And well, the other thing is that I remember that series because it's like, that's one of those times where you're like, okay, so the Cubs pitchers don't have any strike zone, and the Atlanta Braves pitchers get a strike zone about 5 miles wide. Got it. Good to know. Thanks for playing.
So is that the umpires, or?
Yeah. Well,
yeah. You think the
umpires
are biased?
In fairness, they were
biased.
They were. In fairness, they were a better team. But to your point, Ivan, so I'll try to break into a couple directions with this, which is one, I do agree with you that, and I remember hearing it at the time, and it's funny because I remembered it today, which is I remember hearing it at that time. I remember talking to black reporters or black media members. Some of them were talking about exactly what you were talking about the fact that there were people who were grumbling about, who it was kind of an under the radar thing. It wasn't happening much in Chicago, the comments about what you talked about.
Right, but it existed though, and it should
right, and it seemed to be in other cities. It wasn't coming in Chicago because Sosa was totally beloved.
Right, but because, see, you know, Sammy Sosa, I mean, right down to the bobbleheads and all the marketing that happened.
Oh, yeah.
Sosa, okay? But then you get him going to the rest of the United States, and everybody's poo-pooing on his situation, and then the Cork situation happened, and, see, that's why he did it.
The Cork thing happened, what, in 99, 2000?
No, that was later.
Yeah, it was much later.
It was the Cork
later. Incident when the Cork bat exploded. Or
yeah, and that's such a bullshit thing.
It is a bullshit thing because I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if that wasn't set up for the sole purpose of discrediting Sosa. And I mean maybe that's a conspiracy theory at best.
A little bit, yeah.
But at the same time, it's not something you could totally dismiss if you think about it.
No, if you want to go to that direction, let's remember this.
Okay.
Let's remember this. The people who owned the Chicago Cubs at the time were the Chicago Tribune.
Well, the Tribune, yeah, of course.
And at the end of Sosa's run, there were a lot of articles that were coming out from a lot of directions that were bashing on Sosa and how he was acting and his performance and all that kind of stuff. And It was interesting because a lot of that, and it was funny because I remember being on the air at the time. Mm-hmm. And I remember being one of the few voices that was like, wait a minute, where's all this coming from? Last time I checked, he still has hit 60 home runs. I think at that point still twice, maybe 3 times. I can't remember.
Three.
I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why are we running this guy out of town on a rail? Because he's not the 5-tool player we expected him to be, and there's not this and there's not that. And I know that there were certain things about the boombox, and he wasn't a great teammate. And I hate to tell you where a lot of that shit came from, which was everybody's favorite golden boy on that team was Mark Grace would talk about Sammy Sosa behind his back every 5 minutes. Right. There were a lot of people on that team who would talk about, and in fairness, Sammy at times could be a pain in the ass. I will admit that.
But that's inherent in any team. You're going to have your people that you're going to get along with, and you're going to have your assholes that rub things the wrong way.
In fairness, Sammy did some stuff that, like, Sammy's boombox is notorious in the fact that he's not even in the locker room. He turns it all the way up and blasts his salsa music, then leaves, and somebody turns it off. He walks back in and goes, "Who turned off my music? You weren't even here." but the point being is,
but see, okay, now, okay, here, let me
bring back boomboxes. That's what I say.
Well, here's the thing, though, and that is, okay, I guess being who Sammy Sosa is, Hispanic senses of humor don't always translate into the American landscape of the sense of humor. So, okay, him blasting a boombox and walking out of the room was probably it could have very well have been just him being an ass and just kind of stirring up shit and everything like that. You know,
he might have.
So
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember when the
because I'm thinking, he just, but like I said, I
don't remember when the boombox thing happened. If there were other,
it'd be just like if Mike it'd be just like if me and Mike were at the hotel or something, over for Dairy Con, and I take off with his shoes, and then he's looking all over the place for his shoes.
There's friendly pranks, and then there's just they had to work with this guy. I know baseball is a very long season, and it's a long time to be in the crowd of these guys and these clashing egos and whatnot.
Well, lots of clashing egos, though.
But the point I'm getting at is, there was a lot of anti-Sosa stuff near the end of his time in Chicago, and a lot of it came from the Tribune. And it was amazing how quickly when Sosa left early, and he was given permission to leave early, suddenly it was twisted and turned around into a thing, and it was talked up, and it was Tribune.
That was 2004 when a teammate, if not more than one, smashed up Sammy Sosa's locker room boombox.
And supposedly it was Terry Wood.
And so the crazy thing about it is, here's the team owned by the Tribune, and the Tribune was Sosa's undoing. I mean, really? That's fucked up on so many levels. I don't know.
Well, and that's it goes beyond that. I mean, look, let's if we're really, and this is where the indictment comes in, which is when they put them up on Capitol Hill, and the fact that all of a sudden I was in media at the time. I was in sports. Yeah, and when I wasn't, I was done with the show. At the time when a lot of this stuff was happening, I was over at Sporting News Radio, and we were having these discussions. And one of the things I would say to a lot of the hosts, and they get mad at me because I throw it back in their face, was that's not what you were saying. when all those home runs were going out of the park. There were a few that were like, this is bullshit, this is garbage. And there were a few of them, but there were a lot of people who suddenly were very indignant and they've ruined it and they've ruined the game and all this other stuff. And what's slowly come out over time is there's two problems with all the Sosa stuff. There's two
There's always two sides to a story. Yeah.
No, I don't mean that.
No, there's two factors.
There's two factors here. There's two factors here, which is one, are we talking about the Hall of Fame, or are we talking about Sosa coming back to Wrigley Field, welcomed by the Cubs, and maybe they retire a number, or maybe they put up a statue, or they have a Sosa Day, because those are two different animals, and so we can I'd like to tackle them one at a time, which is the first. Let's start with the local, which is, Ricketts has never really fully said what Sosa needs to do to come back, and he won't go on record as to saying anything as to why. And the funny part is, they did not own the team at the time. They did not own the team at the time when any of this took place, and Ricketts has made the content. And I want to be clear about something, because I haven't said something. There are a lot of different Rickettses, okay? The one who owns the Cubs is Tom Ricketts.
Right.
And that does not necessarily mean that he has been the person who's been funding things. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know. But I can't remember.
Well, it is okay. Where I got the story was off. You can't trust everything on the internet, but just something about this story just resonated with me a bit, because it's more than one time that I've heard about Ricketts and his outside activities. Okay, and
and part of it with Ricketts is the fact that he's got a lot of very active family members, and so it comes back on the Ricketts family. So he gets hit on there. And in fairness, some of it fairly, some of it unfairly. And by the way, he has for you would think after the Cubs won a World Series that he'd be the most beloved figure in town. Okay, he's not.
No,
he's not. How could you fuck up being the guy who owned the Cubs after 108 years of fertility, okay, and futility, and you're not the most beloved owner in the entire city? How is that possible?
I don't remember hearing a lot of praise in 2016 when the Cubs won the World Series for the Ricketts.
No, not really.
Not at all.
It was all about the players. The players were going on Saturday Night Live and whatnot.
They took the ball and they ran literally through Saturday Night Live.
I see what you did there.
Appearances. What?
I don't know. What did you do?
Took the ball and ran with it because they're a ball team.
Oh.
Yeah.
You like that? Okay. Okay, sorry.
But yeah. So the question becomes. The question is, why can't Sammy Sosa come back and be a part? And by the way, we're not talking about being like an official paid person. We're just talking about being able to come to Wrigley Field and wave his cap and do his little cap thing, and people be happy.
Yeah.
And
if he came in and did his, his kiss and his peace sign and the hat thing and all the other stuff, and yeah, you know what, his numbers should be honored. He earned that. Okay.
And in fairness, if we're gonna take that to that step, that when we, one of the questions, bless you, is yes, God bless you, is the Cubs hired Manny Ramirez to be one of their hitting coaches, and Manny Ramirez had a suspension from MLB for steroids. And the comment supposedly on why he gets to be here is, he admitted it and apologized. In the meantime, they've rehired Mark Grace to run Marquee Network, and Mark Grace has multiple DUIs. And so to me, yeah, I don't understand.
There's a lot there's a lot of blurred lines there.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of sidestepping going on.
But there's a lot of, in fairness, for the first time in a long time, I've heard groundswell of people sitting there talking about Sosa needs to come back. And in fairness, it was interesting because, this documentary, this 30 for 30 thing that ESPN did, get this. So the Cubs put on their Twitter feed a 1-minute thing of highlight home runs of Sammy Sosa. Now, I don't know if that's an olive branch or if that's the start of anything or if it's them just wanting to take advantage and, okay, we'll hope that blows over and then, we'll go back to business as normal.
Well, maybe somebody in promotions,
Yeah, but you got to run that up the ladder. You got to run that up the ladder.
No, and I get it, but I'm just maybe somebody in promotions is just like, okay, maybe if we plant the seed, it'll grow within the organization, and see if it becomes really something. Maybe the whole Sammy Sosa, show thing, the number getting, retired thing, and okay, he deserves to be in Cooperstown.
Well, okay, so let's get to that, which is let's start there.
I mean, if you strip away all of the background situation, he earned it. He earned his keep. So I would reward that.
Okay, so I'm going to admit I have real issues. I have real issues with the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, and when I say that.
Okay, you feel the same way I do about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Go.
Except I can give you more reasons why I don't like the MLB Hall of Fame. Let's start with the big one.
Well,
which is that the people who vote for let me try that again. The people who vote for the Hall of Fame are the Baseball Writers of America. And once upon a time that made sense when there were only newspapers and magazines. That made sense.
Right.
But the world has changed quite a bit in the last few years.
Oh, yeah, you get at the speed of light.
Well, forget that. We have this thing called sound. Okay?
Right.
Think about this, Ivan.
Yeah.
And you'll get kicked out of this. What do Harry Carey, Vin Scully, Ernie Harwell, Jack Buck, Bob Costas, Jack Brickhouse, Bob Uecker, did I say Bob Costas?
Yeah,
what do all those guys have in common?
It's their voices, man.
It goes beyond that.
The voice of reason, the intelligentsia, the whole...
Goes beyond that. Not one of them had a vote for the Baseball Hall of Fame. Ever.
So none of them have been voted into the Baseball Hall of Fame?
No, not voted in. They never had a vote. In other words, when it comes time to vote for the players, none of those people ever votes because they're not writers.
Oh, so because none of them are writers, then they're disqualified for the whole process of voting people in.
Correct. You need to be a writer.
Okay, now isn't this a basket of shit?
Well, and it's been that way for a while. So to me, one of the things I laugh about is there could be, this has been talked about before, there could be a guy who hasn't seen a game in 20 years who still has his credential for the Baseball Writers of America who gets to vote. Meanwhile, there's guys like Harry Carey and Vince Scully and these guys who watch the game on a daily basis, who are the lifeblood of this game, who know more about baseball and baseball players, and they don't get a vote. They never got a vote.
No, and that does not seem fair at all. No.
It sounds kind of sort of like the Oscar Academy.
No, like the Oscar and the Grammys. It's that whole process where a group of people
the certain insiders are the only their vote counts.
Right.
Situation. I just let me and then let's go in another direction. So, have either of you ever been to the Baseball Hall of Fame?
No.
Okay. So I went when I was looking at colleges out east.
Like a funch.
Okay. Well, we happened to be driving along, and we went out of our way to go to Cooperstown. Okay. And I figured, it's not that far. Went to Cooperstown. Fascinating, interesting. It's interesting and worthwhile and all that kind of stuff. And the entire time I'm like, when you're a kid, you see all these plaques. And you think, oh my God, this is, can't wait to see the plaques. Oh my God, it's going to be great. And I'm like looking around, I'm like, where are the plaques? And finally, there's this little room off to the side. And I'm like, okay. And we walk in there, and there are all the plaques. And when I say all the plaques, they're like one stacked on top of the other.
What do you mean, like shuffled through them like cards? Like tablets?
No. Just sloppy?
More like mausoleum.
Okay.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I mean, it looks like a mausoleum in there.
Oh, good.
I mean, seriously.
No, I believe you, man. It's just that would not invite me to go in and check the rest of it out.
Well,
if I'm going to cemetery,
I mean, it's like, okay, they're all there, stacked one on top of the. When I say one on top of the other, it's like, okay, there's one at the top of the wall, and it goes all the way down the wall to the next row. Okay, and obviously, and some level of some sort of order, and I can't remember because I was younger, but it's an entire room filled with those plaques. And all they do is just sit there. The plaques just are there. And
but what do you expect them to do?
I don't know, but I expected it to look like not a mausoleum, like somebody died there.
Well,
there's a whole bunch of dead bodies in here or something.
Why couldn't they run a soundtrack with all the great baseball moments through that?
Or okay, why not different sections in the building where there are a couple of them? Like when I went to Canton, there's they have the busts of all the guys, okay, and they're all over the building. They're all over the building. I mean, they're not just in one room. There's not the bust room. They're all over the building.
Well, how big was the room? Was it like janitor's closet or?
It wasn't It wasn't real big. It wasn't real big. It wasn't. It was kind of small. I was kind of surprised. I wouldn't call it janitor's closet, but certainly not huge.
That's not possible for all the names to be out there.
Oh, they are. I mean, maybe, and again, I may be over exaggerating how small this room is, but it's not like it's like. I mean, here, ready? You're gonna laugh, Ivan. Here's my favorite to this. I've seen how the ones are displayed at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's badass.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, they have it where it's like a blackened room, and it's like it looks like there's starlight, and they have.
It's like beautiful quality. It's inviting,
right?
And you just go in. You're fascinated to see the room.
I think they even take the signatures of the people,
right?
If I remember correctly, and they put them in there, so it's like their actual personal signature. And so to me, I'm kind of like, and maybe again, I've been to a few Hall of Fames. Maybe that's part of it, but I'm like, damn. I feel like this should be better than this. I've been waiting to see this all my life, and it's just a room of fucking plaques.
Oh my God! So here it is. You're expecting Bullwinkle to say, "Right over here."
So
you're expecting this magical thing, this magical room where it's like, it looked amazing or something, and it's just like a room fucking.
Okay, so this 30 for 30 is it over? Is it like a mini series or what?
No, it's a one. It was
a one and done. Thing. Okay, it was one off.
It's a one and done.
Okay,
and again, the point being is, so yeah, there's that. Not to mention, if we want to start really talking about the Hall of Fame, I keep laughing about this because it's like, all right, you're gonna kick out all the guys for amphetamines. Are you going to kick out Gaylord Perry, who is a known cheater, whose the famous pitch was the spitter? Are you, if we're really going to go here, could have saw Martin Landis, who is one of the guys who, who was a commissioner, who was one of the biggest racists on the planet. P.S. So was Ty Cobb. Last time I checked, Babe Ruth was an alcoholic when he played. I mean,
yeah, it was.
How about we start with the fact that all the records are tainted. Bless you. All the records are tainted because there were no Negro League players for decades. You know, I mean,
why? Because they were relegated to the minor leagues and then the black baseball leagues, which I had the joy of talking with one of those guys when I was a night watchman for the YMCA, and one of the Monarchs, Negro League baseball player. There's a Reader article about him, okay, and he was staying at the place I was watching, and and he talked about all of that, the whole Negro League experience, and how it was not nearly as glamorous as you would say the major leagues, but when they were out there, they got the women's baseball league. That was just total buff and appeal and cheesecake. I mean, you did have some players that did excel in the game. Yeah, but still, what that situation was. That was total promotion out. But when you came down to the Negro leagues, the black leagues, that's what they were said in those days. I'm not taking it to that, but anyway. But what I'm saying is, he spoke about the days about being in the Negro baseball leagues and how that place and time not kind to the Negro leagues, just like the same with filmmakers and inventors.
Well, it depends on who you're talking about. There are certain Negro League players who get memorialized on a regular basis. Obviously, Jackie Robinson.
Well, Jackie Robinson, but see, when you're talking Jackie Robinson coming into the major leagues.
Right, but there's very little on the other side of that. You're right.
Yeah, very little on the other side of that whole, wall there.
Right. I mean, the exception is usually Satchel Paige, and a lot of people look at Satch based on what when he went in the majors. But there was one movie that was out there, I can't remember who did it, where they kind of did something on the Negro League, and they basically, the long and short of it is, they followed three major people. They followed Jackie Robinson, they followed Satchel Paige, and they followed probably the guy who was really the most prolific home run hitter of all time, which was Josh Gibson, which from the catching position is phenomenal. There's always been stories that supposedly, I don't know how it happened, but supposedly at one point he played in Yankee Stadium when he was playing for the Negro League.
Was that Soul of the Game?
Maybe it might have been. I don't know.
I think there was a made-for-TV movie in the 90s.
Yep, that might be it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good one.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, put the link on the page. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a solid movie. But there's a few that get named around, but really in reality for most people only know Jackie Robinson, Satchel Paige. If you know anybody beyond that, you know a little bit more about baseball. But yeah.
Well, but mine was just a happenstance situation. I mean, he came down and, I was busy, doing my rounds, and he's sitting there with a cigar, and he's got his Monarchs jersey on. Mm-hmm. Okay, with his hat, and I walked up to him. I said, "Good evening, sir. Is everything fine?" And he goes, life is good. I'm good. I'm sitting down. I never thought I'd make it here, but I did. And I said...
And then Ivan said, "It's fun to stay at the YMCA." No?
Probably not.
No, probably not.
No, but he probably at that moment told him about the fact that he's on Twitch and he's also known as DJ Buffet.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Wow. I'm getting double teamed over here. Yeah. Let's go.
Hey, there was lube first. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay, it's like that now. All right, but anyway.
So ESPN is running these specials and these documentaries, and because there's no sports going on. So
yeah, well, they had this thing before that, but yeah, they used it as they tried. Like I said, the biggest thing is they tried to make it very. They tried to make it more home run chase, and it's really not. It's really more
the McGwire show.
McGwire, and about.
Yeah. Here we go.
Do we know why? I mean, is there some bias to it? I mean,
I don't know. It's interesting because there were some legit Chicago people who were involved with this thing. But again, that doesn't mean that they were involved in how it got cut in the cutting room floor. Like, hey, if there's anybody who should
producers
be pissed,
and editors, they have their way at the end, you know.
Right.
Wait, well, if anybody should be really pissed today, it's the White Sox fans because they cut out. He basically goes from Texas straight to Wrigley Field, and basically they bypass the entire time he's in the White Sox. The White Sox fans are pissed. And I'm kind of like, you know,
oh, that's rich. That's fucking rich.
and it's not the first time that the ESPN has accidentally forgotten the White Sox on things. Like when the Cubs won the World Series and they talked about how all the teams have won a championship now, and they left off the White Sox in 2005.
Yeah. That's funny.
That's hysterical, man.
Oh man, there are White Sox fans who are convinced that ESPN hates them, and you know what? As a Cubs fan,
true. The
Cubs fan, I just don't care.
Well, you know, I mean, oh God, I mean, you know, as far as the whole Cubs thing, yeah, you know, I mean, I remember, you know, when I was younger, you know, Fergie Jenkins and Hooten, you know, all the rest of those guys on the teams, and we had a good team, 69 and 70, phenomenal team. And now it's just like, and it took all this time until we finally passed 108 years to get to the,
in fairness, there were a few seasons in between that were worthwhile. Like 84, the 84 season was pretty cool. The 89 season was, you know, the 89 season was a good season. 98, 2003. Oh God, I don't even want to talk about 2003. That was painful.
Yeah,
that was painful. The worst part is, I'll never forget this. There was a guy at Sporting News. I love him to death. This guy by the name of Kevin Wheeler, who was our overnight guy, and the Cubs were up 3-1. And he goes, "There's no way they can blow it this time." And when it went to hell, I went and found him on a break that day, and I'm like, "You really had to say it out loud, didn't you? Didn't you?"
Oh my goodness!
And the irony is that guy, when he left Sporting News, ended up at KMOX, which is where St. Louis is. So that's kind of fun.
No.
Good guy though, Kevin Wheeler. He was phenomenal. He was a really good overnight guy.
That's cool. That's all right.
Better than that guy we used to have. There was a guy we had by the name of David Stein, no relation, and he all he wanted to talk about, tell me something good, and he only wanted to talk about the positive things of sports, and he'd sit there and talk about what's your bang, and he was like,
what's your bang?
Yeah, what's your bang?
What's my bag? Or
bang?
Bang, as in bang pow, zoom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he'd be like talking about his winner chicken dinner, and I'd be like, oh my God, this guy sucks. We used to have a good overnight guy. Why did we get rid of the good overnight guy to have this shithole?
Chicken dinner?
Yeah, winner chicken dinner.
Oh my
God. Who uses that?
I do.
In fairness, it was early in the 2000s, but yeah, I mean,
only an ironic kind of, you know.
I mean, it was early 2000s, but yeah. I mean, it's like, I used to love having the overnight gig because I get to listen to the really cool overnight guy, and then that guy came in, and I was like, my job just got 20 times harder.
Oh, now it sucks.
Yeah, my job got 20 times harder just now.
And the fact that you shared the same last name, so things got confusing. People thought to me,
oh, no. He wasn't even there. He was in California.
Oh, okay.
He was working out in California, so it was a big deal.
I was into your station. Oh, that's nice.
Well, no, because the network was out in the burbs, but some of these guys didn't work out of the actual network studios. This guy was one of them, and he was working out of LA, and I kind of laughed because I was like, thank God I don't have to listen to see this twit every day. God, I'd have to. I mean, there were a few times I wanted to like walk into the control room and be like, this guy's a fucking moron. And,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I was Sporting News Radio had some.
All radio
like
moments. Yep.
Just like I'll never forget. We had Tim Brando, who's like this legendary guy who talks about football. In the middle of the summer when there's like major pennant chases going on, fuckers talking about men's tennis and women's golf.
Well, summer's when you have Wimbledon.
No. Men's tennis and women's golf. Though you couldn't pick two things that people were least interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that was his gig. He wanted to just like grab that, women's tennis audience, women's golf audience.
Yeah,
off the radio.
All five of them.
I'll do what everyone else isn't doing to get that market.
I guess. Good thing we're not a national network that is on 400 stations that we need like ratings.
He wears wonderful tennis shoes, and she's got a pleated skirt with a pink shirt and a visor.
You wear green so you can hide. I'm looking at you.
Like I don't want to talk about baseball. Great. Well, you should have a radio show, you dickwad. God.
That was good.
So it's one thing you watch, Jeff. You watch anything else on TV? That was more than 45 minutes in.
What else did I pick up? Did I see? I think I saw a movie. What did I see? Oh, I saw a Ben Affleck movie. The way back. It was all right. It wasn't. It was.
Wasn't way
it was
back.
All right. It was. If I had it, no, it's like a Ben Affleck equals. I used to be a drunk plus sports, like a basketball team, and I make them win movie. One of those. I'd call about
their own, that type of thing.
I'm sorry.
A league of their own, that type of thing.
No, more like one of those paint by number kind of things. Although the ending was a little bit different than I expected. I'll give it 3 out of 5. 3.5. Yeah, man. It wasn't spectacular.
Okay.
Not necessarily bad.
No.
Well, 3.5 isn't. It's
no. It was entertaining. It was entertaining, but.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's a rental movie.
Yeah. Again, I paid $6, so I mean, it wasn't exactly like.
No, not like 12 or, with all the other money. Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny because there's that Pete Davidson movie that came out that looks interesting. I was like, oh, I might watch that, and then I saw it was $20. I'm like, nope, not happening. I'm not spending $20 on this. No way, not doing it. I think we've had this conversation before. Is there a movie either of you right now would spend $20 to watch it from your house?
I want to see Black Widow.
Okay, but I mean, like, okay, so Black Widow would do it for you.
Yeah, I want to see Black Widow. If it was like a 3-day rental, so I could watch it twice in 3 days.
$20?
What? Yeah, I'd pay $20.
Okay. How about you, Ivan? Anything off the top of your head where you're like, I'd spend $20 for a 3-day rental?
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that was where I'm at too.
Yeah, Wonder Woman.
Well, I think, yeah.
I had a 3-day rental on Wonder Woman twice a day. That'd be great. I could do that.
Yeah. I think Wonder Woman's the answer to that question for me.
Yeah, no.
That would be the one.
October. Like, shit.
Yeah, well.
Everything's getting canceled and delayed, and hopefully the theaters will be open by then. I mean, isn't there? I thought that I heard something like about the theaters are trying to get open by August or something like that.
Well,
I heard that AMC is actually going out of business. I don't think they're reopening at all.
I don't know. I have no idea. That's going to be interesting.
Well, nothing official in that capacity.
I've never. There's nothing
there are
official
rumblings
yet
though.
on that.
Yeah, there's rumblings.
And I've seen it on certain media. And
Ivan knows things.
Oh my God!
So
Ivan's been reading. Holy shit!
Okay, wait till I get to my next thing. Out of the hat. Anyway, definitely. There's a cat in the hat. Definitely Wonder Woman for me. Yeah, but if I can get in the theater, no. But if I could do a 3-day rental, I'm down. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and speaking of movies, can I throw something into the ring here? Something I watched yesterday?
Yeah, what'd you watch?
Sure.
Okay, I watched the miniseries based on Jeffrey Epstein. You know?
Oh, yeah, that was it Netflix, I think?
Netflix had it, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I saw it, the 3-parter. Very well done. The only drawback I had with it was the going back and forth in time, between, past and present. It got me a little dizzying because they were talking to...
Yeah, see, and what I hear, it's one of those documentaries where it could have been summed up a lot quicker, but it's because they break it up into so many different episodes, they get more streams that way.
I guess.
They could have compressed it into something a little more shorter.
Well, okay, personally, I would have thought, 2 days might have done the job for me. And the fact that there were some things that seemed a bit repetitious.
Yeah.
Some situations where the dialogue didn't really need to be there because it was already expressed in the previous scene. So it's like they were trying to put some meat on the bone.
Just padding, yeah, just exactly. They made it 3 parts so you get more streams out of it.
Yeah, so anyway, being what it is, and the fact that, the conspiracy theories are still existing about the whole thing. Okay, I mean, let me entertain you with this notion. Had he gone to trial and opened up his little black book, would you say that for the most of it, a lot of things would have went down?
Yeah, a lot of famous people, a lot of powerful people he hung out with. So I'm sure everybody got their hands a little bit dirty, and some way more than others. So, but the thing is what I heard about this prison that he was in, that he died in, is that it was rife with budget problems, and it was pretty run down. I mean, everyone's like, the camera, it wasn't working. I was like, it makes sense because this place is a shithole.
Well, yeah, it's a hellhole.
It was a conspiracy theory waiting to happen with him dying in it because he left him alone. Because, like I said, staffing and budget problems with this prison.
Well, yeah, I mean, the
pretty
guards,
run down from what I heard.
Yeah, the guards were sleeping. The cameras weren't working. And they did bring the person that they did bring a forensic person in on the whole thing, and they were looking at his jaw, just underneath where his jaw would be. He had like this bone, and the way it was broken, and he says this couldn't have happened in where he was at because this break is not what would have happened in a case like this. So he remained inconclusive that, that it could have worked, it could have happened that way, it could not have happened that way. And the other thing that is that, okay, here's what the brother did, he did with his brother, giving him all this money, and then he knew, he planned this out. Now the question is he actually still out there someplace?
Oh, no, Jeffrey Epstein's dead. He's very dead.
No, he's on the island with Tupac.
Yeah, he's with Elvis. No, I'm sure Jeffrey, he's dead. And you know what? The best thing about it is that he's a dead pedophile, so those are the best kind. So.
Oh, yeah, dead pedophile.
This dude was sick, man.
I'm thankful that the Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Memes are done.
They're still around.
Not nearly like they used to be, thank God.
Well, and so the thing about that is, when I watched the whole series, I watched it with Jules, and Yeah, it was very interesting, very interesting. Like I told you, the couple of drawbacks I stated earlier. But other than that, it was, an engaging story. It was thought provoking, and it kind of turned some wheels up in my head to think about some things. So not necessarily a bad thing. So for those of you who want to give your gray matter a shake, check out the Jeffrey Epstein miniseries on Netflix. So, so now throwing the ball over to you there, Mike. What do you got?
What I've been doing this week? Well, let's see. Watched another episode of the Toy Store Near You. It's on YouTube, and I think it's on Amazon. It's a docuseries that's from the same people who did the Toys That Made Us and the movies that made us. It goes around the country following these little brick and mortar vintage toy stores around the country, how they're affected by COVID-19. And man. This one goes to one little place in Kansas where the husband and wife are both healthcare workers, and they both own this toy store. And so they, these are only like half-hour episodes. Like I said, they're on YouTube for free, so check them out. It's interesting. Did another game night on Friday where we were out in the garage. We've relaxed.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah, we've relaxed our social distancing, measures. We had a little bit of food out, just some drink, just like I said, hanging out in the garage. Then they didn't come into the house, so.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, we had that. It was cool. We watched, played our Thunderstone. So it's one of the games we commonly
What
play.
is Thunderstone?
It's just a board game with it's like I said, deck building game where you collectively deck build to fight the monsters that are coming out of the dungeon. And meanwhile, getting skills to build up your characters in your deck, like level them up and whatnot. But it was fun. It was something we always play. And it was another game we played called, what was the name of it? Shards of Infinity. Another deck building game, but we're in the middle of a campaign, so that's interesting too. So, yeah, we don't do the collectible card games.
You do a lot of deck buildings.
Yeah, because we don't do collectible card games, because then you buy the $100 promo card that's, gonna give you instant win, And then we play cooperatively because of the crowd we keep, but it was cool, though.
I'm with you about cooperative.
Yeah, and competitive, competitive gaming can get kind of uncomfortable with some people. Mm-hmm. Work's been just more shit at work. It's like, I don't know. Work is, it's a 4-letter word. I finished my shelf that I built for my Masterpiece Scale Autobots. So I'm proud of that.
Pictures coming soon. I can't wait.
I'll send the pictures in the chat. I don't want to.
All right.
But what else? Oh, grilled out again. Of course, I've been grilled out. Had to go get some more propane. I'll tell you what. I was
Julie smiling, man. She comes up and she tells me, "Hey, Ivan, look at what Mike's doing." We're both looking at your picture. We're like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Well, I've been grilling out almost just about every Sunday now. I've been grilling out.
You're killing me, man. You're killing me with the picture of the grill. It's worse than when I put stuff out.
I'm like,
all right, I'll put a couple things out. And it's like, then Mike puts out
those were good fillets.
Those
were good fillets with Jolly Green Giant green beans, but we had some nice big baked potatoes to go with them.
That's awesome, man. That sounds really good.
Yeah, man. It was some good grilling. Watched episode 4 of Stargirl. No, we can get into a little bit of that. No, it's like, it's good. I like the teen drama vibe. It reminds me of Cobra Kai. How that, there's the grown-ups going on with the 80s nostalgia, and then there's the teen drama going on at the high school. And this was a good episode for, obviously, she's building her little JSA. So, yeah, I like what's going on. I'm really liking this show.
I'm getting a little tired of how dumb Luke Wilson's character is.
Yeah, I was like, hear him say, "Starman was not your father." If he says that one more time, I'm gonna slap that asshole.
It's not even that. It's like this. It's like, what is with this trope that any show that's like a teen show, like all the adults are dumb, And the kids are the only ones who can do anything and are smart.
Well, he's not dumb. He's doing a little investigative reporting, and he's got to be on foot because they can't afford all the CG for that robot suit of his.
Yeah, they're down that. Yeah, well,
they got to save the special effects for They got to save the special effects for Stargirl and now Wildcat.
Not that many special effects.
I'm getting a lot of Black Panther vibes from Wildcat, especially how the suit was kind of CGI, kind of.
Mm-hmm. In fairness, Wildcat's been around a lot longer.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like with the purple sparkly effects was just
yeah,
to be a Black Panther, yeah.
Yeah, and that's not how that all works.
Yeah,
supposed to be this suit. It's supposed to be. She had the abilities and the skills, and anyway, it is what it is. And they're updating. Okay, fine, whatever.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm still liking this show. It's great.
I mean, if you're really going to talk about budget issues, okay, they're hinting that the possibility at some point, probably not this season, about a Green Lantern appearance. And Johnny Thunderbolt.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how they're gonna, and she's got the lantern there, and I'm like, what?
Well, the pink pen with Johnny Thunder, Jesus, Thunderbolt is probably the most powerful more powerful than the Green Lantern, if you're not careful.
Well, that's why they really got to downplay it and just not. Have only once and a big reveal or something. We'll see. But yeah, I'm liking this Stargirl show. It's the only appointment television I got going on right now.
Yeah, cool. No, I'm with you. There's not a lot so far in terms of between COVID-19 and it being summer. Yeah, there's not a lot that I'm like, oh my god, you guys see this or that. Although I will say, Crush Your Luck has been really, really good.
Okay.
The new Press Your Luck this season. I thought it was okay last season.
I should catch some episodes of that because
it's good.
I found out that Neil Ross is the MC of the show and he's the voice of the Whammy, so I should watch that.
Is he?
Yeah.
I really feel like they could do more with the whammies at times. But
yeah. What network is it on?
They could update that more.
What network is it on?
It's on ABC. It's on Sunday
okay.
nights.
I should DVR one and check it out. Oh, speaking of DVRs, oh my god, because I taped it. I mean, that's funny how we tape it, but it's on the DVR. We recorded it, but it's from Tuesday night, and Tuesday night there was all the tornado warnings going on in Kendall County down south. So I had to watch this crawler the whole time I'm watching it. It's like, it's either that or I go to on demand and I can't fast forward through the ads and such. So,
right.
And I missed about a minute of dialogue. Because the tornado warning was going on, so they had to, obviously alert people that, danger is approaching, and I'm not opposed to that. That's the purpose of local television.
It is frustrating.
But it's still I was taping it. First world problems, but oh well. But I'm still liking Stargirl.
I'll admit it. I get frustrated. It's like, that fucking thing's nowhere near me. It's not even near me.
Your fellow human beings are in danger. I'm missing my show.
Well, great. How about we cut the signal and put their shit over there and watch my shit so I can watch what I want?
That's right. The tornado warning is not. I'm 70 miles from the tornado warning. Why am I watching this?
It's not meant for me.
Well, that's the only thing about these ridiculously huge signals is it's like these huge TV signals is it's like, okay, the amount of area that it covers, if it's all the way down and 70 miles away, guess what? We're going to hear about it. You're like, that is nowhere near me. I don't even care. It's like, oh my god, tornado warning. It's on the other side of the planet. Okay. Practically. And by the way, when you're in Chicago, if it's on the south side and you're on the north side, it is the other side of the planet. I don't care what you say.
Because it takes you that long to get across.
Yeah, because it takes that long to get there.
Might as well drill into the center of the earth and drill out.
Yeah. There are small cities where it's like when I lived in Indy, the game from the north side to the south side was like, boom, no problem. Like when I was in out east, it was like, oh, Boston's 3 hours. Okay, no problem. Okay. Going from one side of the city to the other side of the city. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. No, I don't want to do it.
Well, Ivan knows all about that because he has to go to Indiana sometimes. Right? With Julie, is she still doing that?
Yeah. In fact, we're going there tomorrow.
Yeah. So
I heard they're opening the casinos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, good on them. Congratulations. We can. Yay, gambling.
Hey, yay, gambling. I mean, I hope everything works out well, man, because I think it's still a little too soon, but okay.
Yeah, and you know what the worst part is? The worst part is it's going to be an all bunch of Illinois people. You know that they did this on purpose because they knew that all the Illinois people come across.
Yeah. It's a strategic move.
Well, they opened up Wisconsin earlier, and all the Illinois people are going up over the border to Lake Geneva.
Yeah. Or Wisconsin Dells.
Yeah, as long as all the COVID stays up there and over that way, then yeah, fine. You guys can do whatever.
But if it's anything, we've had the lowest numbers so far.
Yeah, that's good. Well, and statistically, that most people really don't get the flu, during summer. So, but I'm seeing a lot of people outdoors doing stuff. So we'll see.
But
I did see you guys are getting kicked out of this. So, this past week they had, they do that Celebrity Family Feud, and sometimes I watch, sometimes I don't, depends who they've got on. But one of the teams was, RuPaul's Drag Race.
Okay.
With Steve Harvey. And Steve Harvey is wearing this, it's like a purplish suit. And of course, right away, all of the people on Drag Race are like, "We love your toasted plum suit." And he's wearing this shirt he's wearing this shirt that's really busy with this busy tie. And I mean, I'm looking at this thing going, why is he even wearing this? And why would you choose to wear this when you're going to have RuPaul's Drag Race on here? This is a bad idea. You're going to
I'm picturing this in my head. Oh my goodness!
But if you could find that one was funny because, it's RuPaul. It was funny because RuPaul's one of the ones who's mostly calm and relaxed and that stuff. But Carson Chrisley's on there and he's giving him all kinds of problems. And then Steve's got to go talk to the two drag queens, and that by itself is hysterical. Especially the one where it's like, "So, what do I..." And he's like, "Hello." And he's like, "Ah!" And they kept talking about his toasted plum suit. And he's like, as soon as this show is over, this suit is never getting worn again. It's getting burned. I am getting I have friends
in the dressing room wastebasket.
Yeah, I have friends at home who are never going to let me hear the end of this one. And it's because I'll be honest, when I saw it at first, that was my first reaction,
toasted plum.
Are you going to the International Pimp Convention today or something?
That's what exactly I was thinking about.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he usually dresses really well, don't get me wrong, but this time it was one of those where it was
oh no, man, he's a very snappy dresser. Not going to take that away.
Yeah.
There are limits.
But yeah, Steve Harvey plus drag queens equals
comedy gold, television
comedy
TV gold.
Yeah.
TV gold, yes.
Well, especially when you added toasted plum
suit.
Oh, yeah, good lord.
That's the name of the show.
Probably is. Yeah, that might be the best
plum suit. Yeah.
So we can get into news now, I think.
I don't know. I was going to ask. I was actually going to ask both. I think we talked about this. We were going to tease this week. I don't think we did. Or I don't know. Do we want to do this week? Which is
do what?
Movies. I thought we were talking about movies that we should have seen but we haven't.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
they
pulled it off HBO Max, but I think they put it back on with a disclaimer. So I've never seen in its entirety Gone with the Wind.
Me neither.
No, I've seen bits and pieces, like when it used to be miniseries on. I forget one of the TV networks back in the day before we had video cassette recorders and all that. Mm-hmm. We used to air it maybe Easter or something, or during the summer. I think I remember seeing it on the networks or whatever, like a weekend marathon or something. But no, that's one I've never seen.
I saw that one in its entirety. My mom loved the movie, and so we saw it together.
Okay.
See, I think it's funny because Mike and I are a little bit younger, so I have a feeling there's a few movies that he and I have both probably not seen that you've seen that are pretty easy. Like, I know I haven't seen Casablanca. I haven't seen Citizen Kane.
Yeah, those are obviously like a lot of movie buffs say like that's in their top 10 movies of all time.
Yeah,
but I'm not that.
I'll tell you. I'll be honest with you, as I always am. But no, I have not seen Casablanca in its entirety. I only know it by its musical scene, maybe a few bits.
I only know the "Play It Again, Sam." That's all I know.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Right. So,
or of all the gin joints in the world, you've had to come into mind, or whatever the hell that is.
I mean, we probably know more of the dialogue than any of us who would have ever seen the movie anyway. Most of it's in the vernacular.
You don't see a lot of Casablanca memes these days, so.
Nope.
No, but doesn't mean that there aren't companies of people in societies who still hold on to these things, and they end up becoming a part of it. It's part of their makeup. Same with Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane, no, never seen Citizen Kane. Never seen it.
No, no, me neither. I think the reason we ended up on this was Scott said something privately and in private message about a movie that Ivan had not seen.
He's in our private chat, so.
Right.
That's fine. No,
Ivan had not seen.
Private chat.
That Ivan has never seen, and I think I just about died.
What, Airplane?
Yes.
Yeah, never seen it.
How the...
that was in heavy rotation when I was little, when we first got cable TV. So I've seen it lots of times.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what it was.
I saw the Naked Gun and the Naked Gun 2, but I didn't see Airplane.
And the funny part is Airplane's better than both of those.
Oh, okay, well.
Airplane's
just don't see Airplane 2. Airplane 2 is bad.
So do Airplane.
It's funny.
It had there's some funny parts, but Airplane 1 was way funnier.
It's so funny. Now that I think about it.
What?
Could Airplane even air today?
No. Not for the most of it. No.
There's the one scene where she goes, the grandma goes, I talk jive.
I speak jive? Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
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 And then what's his name? Punching out. And what's his name's punching out a whole bunch of Hare Krishnas? I don't know.
Robert Stack. Yeah, we'd like to have this flower.
Or there's the one scene where the one guy's talking about how we got here, and he's like, well, the dinosaurs died, and then the Arabs came, and they took all the oil. Yeah, I don't think, even though that's funny.
But not play.
Yeah, a lot of non-PC jokes in those Airplane movies.
Yeah.
Still
funny though. Definitely worth seeing.
Any movies? Let's see what else.
Okay, now what's this I hear about? Taking guns out of cartoons.
We talked about this last week, Ivan.
We talked about this last week.
Yeah, it was when they want to take Elmer Fudd's shotgun and Yosemite Sam's pistols.
Okay,
will not be in the. Yeah, we talked about this last week, bud.
I know we talked about this last week, but I had a delayed reaction, so
it was
just like, okay, you. But all I'm saying is, so I explained it for myself, and so it's just like, I'll be damned.
Yeah,
okay.
A lot of people be all like, oh, y'all a bunch of snowflakes, you're taking away cartoon characters you're offended by.
Well, you know what? If they were going to do that to all of them, then they might as well just, take the rest of the film.
Yeah, so many cartoons on Boomerang, like we grew up watching. Like I said, we talked about this last week about Ricochet Rabbit and Quick Draw McGraw, and even episodes of The Simpsons or not Simpsons, but the Flintstones even, where they were they had swinging guns around, even guns made of rocks and yeah.
Had a 6-shooter.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, so.
But Westerns were, prevalent, and it was a different culture back then,
Right, exactly. It was
a different time. Getting back real quick to think of movies we haven't seen, what we should have.
Yeah.
Let's see.
For example, I'll tell you right now, I haven't seen any of the Godfathers.
I saw Godfather 1.
I haven't seen any of them. I haven't seen Scarface either.
Okay, well, I've seen the Godfather trio, all three of them. Let me see, Scarface. I've seen, that was a big one in our house. Yeah.
Didn't see Raging Bull.
No, I didn't see Raging Bull. Okay, how about
Didn't see Raging Bull?
Did you see Streets of Fire?
Streets of Fire? No, I don't even know what that is.
You mean Streetcar Named Desire?
No, Streets of Fire.
Streets of Fire. No.
You mean Chariots of Fire?
No, not Chariots of Fire.
You mean Great Balls of Fire?
No,
I haven't seen Chariots of Fire either.
No, I've not seen Streets of Fire.
No, Streets of Fire, man, with Michael Parr.
No, I've not.
Man, it's a graphic novel that moves, man. It's really, really cool. I mean, great 80s soundtrack, and has so many multiple levels of different artistic designs within the framework of the movie.
I never saw any of the Blade movies with Wesley Snipes.
You know what? Neither have I.
No. No.
That's three of us, yeah. I didn't see any of the Blade movies. I wasn't
drawn to it.
What about
Never
Resident
saw
Evil?
in its entirety Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Oh, I saw multiple times.
I've seen bits and pieces on cable, but I never sat through start to finish. I've seen the other ones from start to finish, but not that one.
Oh my God, I saw that when I was a kid, and we went to a late night showing, and I couldn't get to sleep, but I had nightmares that night because I thought some guy was going to come and pull my heart out. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God.
My God.
Oh yeah. No. I was like, see, we can't take him to movies this late. I'm like,
He's going to pull my heart out.
Andy, watch for the heart.
I'm going to shit my pants.
There's another character that can't happen anymore.
No, he can't have short round. No.
Short round can't happen anymore.
No, that ain't going to happen no more.
No.
Hang on, lady. We going for
even
a ride.
like Gung Ho with Michael Keaton?
Yeah,
that's another one I don't think we can have here again.
No.
Or like Revenge of the Nerds. I remember watching the movie tons of times, but
that's a little bit of
Can we not have the Revenge of? I'll tell you what movie we definitely could. I'll tell you what movie we definitely couldn't have. Porky's.
No. So much nudity, so many penis and booty and titty jokes in that whole thing. Oh my gosh. Nope.
Oh man. The second one's just as bad as the first one.
Oh yeah. Both of them were great.
Yeah, they're both really, really good though.
They're both really good.
For all the wrong reasons.
How about a bachelor party?
Bachelor Party, I've seen it recently. It holds up.
I think it's pretty mild by today's standards in a lot of ways.
Well, it's funny because they don't really the one scene
it
that
is,
could be
risque, but I mean, there's a couple of scenes where there's some full frontal, but
the one thing that could be the most risque is the thing with the donkey, but they don't do anything with the donkey.
No, they don't show it. It's not they even show more of it, like in Clerks 2, but that's different.
Well, yeah, that was
yeah.
Kelly can be a girl's.
God. Kelly can be a boy's name too.
Oh my God, no, that would.
I'll never forget that. I'm sitting there and I'm watching it. Hey, ready? I'm watching it in Sporting News. I got it from Netflix. I'm watching it in Sporting News, and because I was able to watch while I was doing work, and I'm watching this and I'm like. It clicks into my brain like 2 seconds before it's about to be there. I'm like, oh no, no, I don't want to see this. I want nothing to do with this in any way, shape, or form. Oh, I mean, it's funny.
Did you see that Kevin Smith is opening movies, like a pop-up movies?
No.
Yeah, up in California, they're going to have like a pop-up.
Movies, the thing, yeah.
The restaurant, yeah, the fast food chain.
It only works if what's-his-name is there.
Yeah, if Kevin and Jason are there.
Yeah, then it's worth it, because I want to, actually, you know what would be really cool? If they did a pop-up Quickie Mart.
Oh, no, they can't do that now, because,
No.
With a big sign in front of it that says, "I assure you we're open."
Oh yeah, now I'm thinking of the Simpsons Quickie Mart, but yeah, they could do
No.
that.
I'm talking about the first one.
Maybe the whole front of the place is painted in grayscale, so in black and white.
Yeah, that would be really funny if you had like that, and you had like you had two people acting like Jay and Silent Bob standing in the front, going smoking weed, doing. Yeah, I'm trying to think of comedies that I think I probably should have seen that I haven't seen.
I never saw something about Mary.
I saw.
I never saw it.
I didn't see it.
Napoleon Dynamite. I've never seen Napoleon Dynamite.
I've seen bits and pieces, but I never sat through the whole thing.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh God, I've seen that billions of times.
Are you kidding me? Really?
You've never seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
I have.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I was just going to say. I'm like, wait a minute, who's saying they didn't see it? Because I think all of us have seen
we've
it,
all
right?
seen it.
I've seen that. Come on, I can quote it.
Yeah, okay, Ivan, after you tell me you haven't seen Airplane, I'm a little nervous about when you haven't seen it.
Oh, okay, so I missed out on Airplane. Oh my God, I didn't get to see them all. Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna keep.
We're not talking about like. Airplane's one of the ones where it's like. I mean, the reaction I'm having here is mild compared to the one I had when Scott said it, which is, get the fuck out of here. What the fuck have you never seen Airplane?
It happens, man. I can only hold
Surely
up so
you can't
many
be
times.
serious.
Yeah, first of my name is Shirley. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I'll see what I'm saying. There'll be just a bigger thrill when I do see it. Will do.
Trying to feel. I'm thinking about certain comedies or
Rock and Roll High School.
I don't even know what that is.
Rock and Roll High School.
Rock and Roll High School with the Ramones.
No, that's out of my age range.
No, not so much.
No, kind of is.
The Ramones are what, 70s, 80s, right?
Yes.
Are they 80s? I don't know about the 80s.
Yes. Rock and Roll High School.
No. That one I don't know.
Okay, let's see. What's a heavy metal?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? Every kid in the 80s who had Cinemax watched heavy metal.
Yeah, that kind of freaked me out. It was a little jarring for me because
really?
I went from, it was the first adult cartoon I ever saw.
Mm.
And I was still too young to appreciate the bubes. But the violence was kind of jarring for me.
Like Den, that whole Den thing is funny. What happens if I don't? She dies, you die, everybody dies. Seems like a good reason to me. Let's do it.
Then there was Rock and Roll.
Yeah, I've seen that. I saw Saberspark put up a video about that, about the alternate versions of that film.
I told you about the really bad story. I think I've told this story about how one night we wanted to watch heavy metal, and at the time it wasn't available for rental. And this guy basically sat there and said, I got just the thing. It's just like heavy metal. And he handed us Akira.
Oh, yeah, the anime, yeah. You remember? I think you told me about that.
I think I mentioned this. Yeah. Oh, my God.
And people say that's like the Gone with the Wind of anime films, but I've never seen Akira.
Now, in fairness, it was mixed company, and we wanted to see tits and boobs and raunch.
Yeah.
And instead, we got bad dubbed. No, I think we took the Japanese. Maybe we took. Was
it
Japanese
subtitled
version.
or was it dubbed?
I think it was the subtitled one.
Oh.
So they kept yelling each other's names constantly for 20 minutes, and I swear we're all kind of sitting there going, we're all kind of sitting there just like, this is so. What the fuck is this?
There's so much anime out there. It looks like I'm not interested in any of this anymore. I used to get a lot more into anime back in the 90s when I was buying the tapes, but I'm just not into this anymore. I've just kind of fallen out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe just the oversaturation content. I think might have been my turn off.
Here's where I'm curious. This will tell me.
That's anime,
Here we go. Ivan, have you seen American Pie?
Yes.
Okay. Mike?
Shit brick! Oh yeah, I've seen American Pie. I saw the first one.
You saw the first one, okay.
Yeah. It's like putting your fingers into the middle of a
That's an underrated movie.
Mm-hmm.
That is an underrated good team.
And then he comes back, then the dad comes back and he's boning the pie. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm on board.
The whole thing with the webcast thing is awesome. That is.
Then of course you had the one part. It was an entirely different movie. One part. Listen to me. Remember Band Camp?
There was one time at Bad Camp. Yeah. Didn't they try to make a movie out of that? Like her misadventures at Band Camp?
They made a series for a little bit, I think.
Yeah, they did. There's a whole bunch of American Pie movies that are like
just like what's the other one? Like a National Lampoon. You know how National Lampoon started building up all their stuff? It's like thing all over again.
I've seen some of them. They're not good. They're equivalent to the B movies that we used to watch in the 80s, where they were like the teen A movies. That's the best way.
Yeah, like Zapped with Scott Baio, you know.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. They're very equivalent to that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's. Wow.
Oh my God. Yeah, there you go. See, there were those whole bunch of bad movies in there. There was
John Cusack, like Crazy Summer and all that.
No, there were worse ones than Crazy Summer.
Yeah, worse ones. Yeah, but that was sort of like the cream of the crop. But there are other ones. Yeah, like I said, a lot of ones are just like the ones you see like late at night on Showtime in the summer.
Yeah,
where it's like sometimes if you have to pause it, pause the tape, you get to see a pair of boobs, but that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like the Lemon Popsicle series from Israel. Yeah, they had a dubbed.
What?
There was a series of like all 1950s soundtrack, all dressed up like the 50s, early 60s type of adventures of this group of guys wanting to score with these girls, from out of Israel, and they dubbed them into English, and they were extraordinary. They were like, that was required watching at our house when I was in Puerto Rico, man. There was there's like 5 or 6 of them, in that whole, context of that type of storytelling. But yeah.
Okay.
Would any of that end up on, happening now? No, not so much. I mean, it's just borders on softcore porn. But with music.
There's a whole bunch of really bad 80s movies I remember seeing. Things like, what was it, Hard Bodies, anything that was like basically the Cinemax shit that they play late at night where...
Right.
Last American Version.
Yeah, that was one. What else was one? I mean, they had all those things. I mean... Gabriel Iglesias does that whole thing where it's like, he talks about like, when he was a kid, he used to watch it, it was like, the following film has been, it's like
there was a movie company called Canon that made a whole shit ton of those type of movies.
I think maybe like Orion Pictures made a lot of that.
Yeah,
shit.
There's a bunch of them.
A lot of cookie cutter, teen comedies or whatever.
Yeah, like the drive-in movie shit. Something.
There was one that was really early on. That I can't remember. What's his name? Hector Elizondo is on it. And then the chick from, shouldn't say the chick, the woman who's in Police Academy, the one with the really big blonde with the big
nose. the hardcore, the gun nut that was Tackleberry's love interest.
Angie Dickinson?
No, not Angie Dickinson.
I don't know the actress's name, but
I can't remember her name. But here's the real fun part. And an extremely very young Johnny Depp.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's some really bad, like one of these really bad movies that I can't remember. I want to say it was like Last Resort or some weird shit like that. And it's
like when Johnny Depp's left 21 Jump Street and he's breaking into film.
Oh no, this is way
before 21 Jump Street?
This is way before. Way before.
Before he went to Jump Street.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is early. This is
the movie you wanted to forget.
This is like, I need a role. This is me in a starring role, and I shouldn't be starring. Him and another person. I guess. Hold on. Maybe I can find what this movie is.
Oh, get it. IMDb it.
Maybe I can. Maybe I can find it.
Here we go. Give him a ring.
What? No, we're not going to call the website, Ivan.
I know.
Call information. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's movies that we have appealed to taste, but
Private Resort.
Private Resort. Okay.
1985.
Oh shit!
So it's right before. It's probably got to be right before. Oh, here we go. It's Rob Morrow from what is it? Northern Exposure, and Johnny Depp.
Oh my god!
and in it is Leslie Easterbrook and Hector Alessandro. Dice Clay is in this thing.
Wow.
Okay.
It was before he got booted from MTV.
Yeah, well, way before. This is way before.
His last album was crazy.
I'm just trying to look to see if there's any other names that I recognize here. But yeah, this is 85.
That was a good year.
Yeah, it's one of these things where it's like, I think it's like where they're like constantly chasing them around the hotel or something about some sort of diamond that they're missing or some weird shit like that or something. I can't remember. All I remember is it was like, it's semi, even now it's bad, but it's bad enough that it's semi-entertaining. But yeah. Yeah, no, there's some bad stuff out there, but I remember that one because Johnny Depp's in it.
Oh my gosh! So long before 21 Jump Street with Holly.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Holly Robinson Pete.
But some of those movies exist like that are out there. Like, what is it? There's the one with Justine Bateman was supposed to be the star. And they were like a rock group, a girl rock group, and it was not a good movie. But the reason why every so often it gets played is because it's like Julia Roberts right before Pretty Woman.
Okay. Reminds me of this one movie. I guess it was Ron Howard's brother was cast in the leading role.
Well, he's in a lot of shit.
But he's in a lot of stuff, though.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, but this particular production, I don't know if he was not exactly proud of it. It was a movie called Cotton Candy. Have you guys heard of it?
No, don't know that one.
Well, let's just say, if Wisconsin could manufacture cheese at 3 times the rate, yeah, that's cotton candy.
Actually, California is the #1 producer of cheese in the country now.
Is it really now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. All right.
And, because, well, that and the most produced cheese in the country is obviously mozzarella because pizzas. But then second is cheddar.
Yeah, pizza. You got that right.
Yeah.
Pizza's
pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah.
So okay, you got any other news? I think we gotta move along. We're running along tonight.
Are we? Okay, well, I know Denny O Neil.
We're just having all this fun, man.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Oh, I know what I was going to mention. There is one other one that they rerun a lot, which is that Love Potion #9 thing, where it's a young Tate Donovan and a really young Sandra Bullock. That gets rerun every so often. Yeah.
Okay.
I never really found Sandra Bullock, attractive.
Really?
Sandra Bullock,
Something about the face. Maybe it's the chin bone. I don't know. The cheekbone. I don't
know. She's got kind of a Barbara Streisand feel about her, but, not quite as straight with the nose.
No,
There's just always these weird little movies that get played a ton because, whatchamacallit, Airheads gets played a ton because of the cast that it is, and how insane that cast is, even though it never turned out to be a great movie.
No, it was not a box office smash, that's for sure.
Right, but you look at the cast and you're like, holy shit,
Yeah,
how did
you'd
this
think
movie
it
not
would've
do
been.
well?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember the movie Pump Up the Volume with
Yes.
Christian Slater?
Yep.
Yeah, Christian Slater. Yeah. Everyone was comparing
Everybody
him
knows
to Nicholson.
where the dice are loaded.
Yeah.
Yep.
Happy Harry Hotterton. Yeah.
Every time I open my mouth, the fit hits the shan.
Yeah.
There we go.
What happened? I think Christian Slater's still working. I think he's still doing stuff.
He
right?
is. He's doing that. That's the other thing I have been watching.
What?
Is the USA Dirty John Betty Broderick, the Betty Broderick thing with Amanda Peet and Christian Slater, which has been phenomenal. Which, if you can get a chance to look at that,
where is it on? Is
USA.
it on USA? Okay.
USA.
Cool.
USA. And it's Amanda Peet and it's Christian Slater. So
okay, all right.
Christian Slater been doing a lot with USA between that and Mr. Robot. So, with what's his name, the guy who played
Freddie Mercury
from Queen.
I forget the actor's name.
Yeah,
that's another movie they pushed the next James Bond. They pushed that to next year.
Yeah, I guess they're moving the Oscars back a few months.
Wow, yeah, everything's
April,
getting delayed.
I think.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, they're talking April.
Are they really? Okay.
Yeah.
And then
April.
I don't know if you caught this, Mike. So no Origins this year. They canceled it outright entirely.
Yep.
And Celebration will be back in 2 years.
Star Wars Celebration. Yeah, that sucks.
We did. Speaking of things that suck, we lost Denny. We certainly lost Denny O Neil this week.
Yeah, that was a bummer. Yeah, I mean, I didn't find this until later, but I mean, when Marvel got the rights to do the Transformers comic, Marvel writer Bob Budiansky created almost every character. But before Jim Shooter handed the project to Bob Budiansky, because nobody else wanted to do it, it was Denny O Neil who named the truck toy Optimus Prime.
Did he really?
Yes.
Wow.
Though he doesn't remember doing it, but Jim Shooter did say that
Heavy.
Denny O Neil named Optimus Prime.
Heavy.
Denny O Neil is one of the, and I don't know, I assume, Ivan, you're aware of a lot of that stuff too, because I know obviously we're talking about as far back as the 60s and the early 70s, but
right.
Denny O Neil, I mean, if you read Batman comics in the 80s, you Denny O Neil, that's your guy. I mean, he pretty much created.
He created Batman for the new age.
Yep.
Yeah, he got away from the '60s camp of the
exactly. He gave it a distinction that kind of set it apart from the predecessor, and basically a lot of the building blocks to what were going to happen to the Batman comic in the future were built upon his design. So.
Yeah,
definitely.
and in fairness,
well, he was a writer, not an illustrator, right? Or was he an illustrator?
Was a writer.
Okay, yeah.
And then, I mean, like, for example, Ra's al Ghul is his creation.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, that's a huge deal. Then the other thing is,
did he also create Talia?
Yeah, that's all him.
Okay, yeah.
That's all him. Everything about that it started with him. Him and Neil Adams.
Shadows and all that?
Yep, that's him and Neil Adams.
Wow.
The other thing is, obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, but for people who are aware, a lot of the social awareness in comics that really, it's funny, we see a lot of stuff right now about certain things that comics have always been there, but Denny O Neil really brought it to the forefront with the Green Arrow, Green Lantern comic, The Hard Traveling Heroes, especially with the fact where they made Speedy a junkie. And, yeah, I mean, that's huge. I mean, there's the one thing that's been out there about how come you're not helping the black, helping all these people from all over the world, all over different worlds. How about the black people? How come you're not helping them? And Hal Jordan's like, yeah, you're right. I really haven't. Not to mention, he was involved in the Muhammad Ali Superman book.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, Denny O Neil's just been...
81, he had a good life.
Right, and the current look...
Labor. His labors will never be forgotten as long as they're collectors.
That's right.
Right, and then the current look of... the current look of the question is also attributed to Denny O Neil. So, yeah, there's a bunch.
Groovy.
So.
What else we have? We have more movies delayed, conventions delayed. What else? More stuff in the works. What do we have in the works this week at the movie studios?
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, they moved back a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I know that Tenet movie that's everybody's clamoring from Christopher Nolan got backed up until the end of July now, and then Godzilla got backed up 2 years. The Godzilla King Kong movie, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that got moved around. And I'm not positive that Wonder Woman's not going to end up being a December release at this point.
Well, okay, let me give that a little hope. I say November.
They dropped the PlayStation 5. Apparently, that's coming in October with some titles that are coming, including a Miles Morales video game.
Yeah.
So, not that I'll play it. I mean, that's cool. But yeah, Miles is getting more traction, so that's cool.
Oh, and that's the other thing. The other thing is, I guess they've started work on Spider-Verse 2.
Yes.
For 2022.
Excellent. Great film.
Yep.
All right.
But I'm trying to think of anything else, really. I mean, this week all seems to be delay. Reschedule. Yep. I'm sorry, there is one thing. Did either one of you catch the trailer for Bill and Ted?
Yeah. Looks what I expect.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
Bill and Ted 3, Face the Music.
Bill and Ted 3. There's a third one coming out.
Yeah, they filmed it just in time before the Rona.
Okay, no, I didn't hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was not, trying to watch, what? How old is Keanu Reeves now? What, 50?
Well, this was, he's up, so is Alex Winter. The other guy that nobody knows. But
he's up in Jivin Land.
I mean, I'm just kind of like watching Keanu Reeves try to pull off the Bill and Ted thing, and I'm just like, no.
This is like a 2-hour Super Bowl commercial. It's like, wait a minute.
It's like, no, this isn't working at all.
Well,
this is not working.
Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey was like, it really was a letdown for me because I really liked the first one. And having the third one without Rufus, without George Carlin, I don't know. I hope they do some kind of tribute to him, but I mean, I'll see it. I don't know if I'll pay full admission, but I'm interested in it.
I think maybe you might want to rent that.
It is my era. I don't know. I'll have to see what the word on the street is when it finally makes it to
I just wasn't I just wasn't impressed by the trailer.
And when the first movie came out, a lot of Doctor Who fans got pissed off because the Time Machine was a phone booth, and it seemed like they were making fun of Doctor Who. So.
Who?
Yeah. The Bill and Ted's Face the Music. Like, okay,
all right. I have to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves with the guy who we never remember his name.
Do you ever see any of the John Wick movies?
No.
Yeah, I think John Wick 1 is worth a watch, but I've heard John Wick 2 is more the same, and so is 3. So, once you see John Wick, the first John Wick was good. Sort of like The Equalizer with Denzel. Remember those two movies came out like real close to each other, and they're kind of compared to each other.
I didn't see that either. And The Equalizer's based off the TV show, right? The one that there used to be in either the 80s or the 90s
I'm
from
not
CBS.
sure if it's directly or not directly related, but yeah, the first John Wick was entertaining. But I heard the second and third one is like more the same. If you really like the first John Wick, then you'll like the other ones. But because it's more the same.
What's the difference between John Wick and Jack Reacher, other than the fact that one's Tom Cruise and one's Keanu Reeves? Aren't they like kind of the same?
Oh yeah, and of course, the Top Gun movie's been pushed back. So
yeah.
And apparently we're getting a Gesundheit. Apparently we're getting a Gesundheit? We're getting a Transformer toy of Maverick's F-14 jet from the first Top Gun movie. So that's interesting.
Are you really?
Because they did do a crossover of the Ecto-1 from Ghostbusters, and IDW did a crossover comic where the Transformers and the Ghostbusters were, working together or whatever.
Yeah.
And Ecto-1, transformed into a robot. So they're doing the same thing. I don't know if there's going to be, a tie-in fiction or whatever, but, yeah, they made a F-14 jet that makes a robot for the...
It's funny you say that.
Gun.
So there was this meme going around on Facebook about, with, practically, early pictures of, the four guys from Ghostbusters. Mm-hmm. And... you would be surprised how many people did not realize.
Yeah, their high school photo, right? Yeah.
Right. They had no idea that was the four guys from Ghostbusters. There were a lot of people.
Come on, and Dan Aykroyd, you can't recognize Dan Aykroyd. I see Bill Murray has really changed, and Harold Ramis, but Dan Aykroyd looks like Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Well, it was pretty obvious when I'm looking. I'm like, that's Harold Ramis. That's Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, Bill Murray is
There's Ernie Hudson. Yeah. That's the Ghostbusters, but literally
a lot of people were like, "Who are these for?" Yeah, I remember seeing that on your Facebook feed.
Not only just young people, people my age or older, just were like, "Oh, I didn't see it right away. It took me a second. Oh, I didn't realize that." And I'm like, "Damn, really?" Wow. I'm like, wow. It seemed pretty. My favorite was, I kind of made a joke. I kind of made a joke on it too, where I was like, these four courageous men who saved the city of New York 30-something years ago. We recognize them and blah blah blah. And we salute you or something like that. And it's really obvious that I'm making a joke here. It's people are like, who are these guys? What?
Man.
By the way, there was somebody who asked a question.
What?
Who actually asked a question. We actually have listeners. We did have a listener who asked a question.
Okay, well, what was the question?
It was, where is it? It was from...
It's in your shirt pocket.
An individual by the name of Christopher Pritchard. This is going to be in Ivan's wheelhouse. Lady Antebellum, the music group, changed their name to Lady A. What does the A stand for?
You know my answer.
I don't know.
They were a bunch of Happy Days fans, so they all just named it after the Fonz, and so it's Lady A.
Yeah, seriously, that could be it for me. I have no idea.
Okay, and why would they do that?
Because antebellum means pre-Civil War. So they didn't want to...
Oh, is that what it is?
I think what antebellum means.
Oh.
Well... Okay. I no. Come on, guys. Why is this so wrong on so many levels?
Yeah, antebellum, occurring or existing before a particular war, especially the American Civil War.
Yeah, and it's history, and it happened, and if they choose to exude this situation...
Yeah, no, it was the same thing with, HBO Max took Gone with the Wind off the air. And I saw Gone with the Wind, so, it's a great film, from what I'm told, and of course...
Well, I don't know.
Well, okay.
All I know is it's 1:15 and I need you now.
Oh, okay. So Lady Antebellum is now Lady A, which apparently is some local artist out of, I think, I forget where.
Yeah, I guess that it can't be Lady A.
And of course it was a black artist, and she was all like, "Oh, you're just extra racist." Oh my God. They can't win for losing.
Wait. What was that again? Extra racist?
Yeah, but because the I forget the verbiage was, but it was like because they're a group of white people and they've taken her namesake of her that she's worked at for years and she's a recording artist and
so it's definitely a quarter after one and I need you now.
No, Lady A needs to change their name again. I think.
I guess I don't know.
You can't win for losing, right?
It's the part where this is country. This is totally not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
All I know about country is if you play everything backwards, they get everything back.
Wasn't the same band that had like they were having an outdoor concert and then like the roof fell down before they were going to go on stage, and because of a storm and like I think like a couple people died because this outdoor show that the pavilion collapsed on top of these a bunch of people and.
Well, we definitely need you now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hold on a second. Now I gotta look this up because
now we got him intrigued. Okay, Jeff.
Well, no, because we can't end on a thing where it might not be even right. I don't know. Hold on a second. Wait. What was the thing that happened?
The pavilion collapsed.
And it killed the spectators from underneath it.
Oh yeah, here in Georgia.
No, I think it was the Indiana State Fair.
Was it? No, I think that's something.
No, that's
lady
Sugarland was about to go on. I think stage. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
Sugarland, not Lady Anne. See, that's on my country music groups. I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
This is the part where we're
disregard.
Way out of our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
We're way out of our wheelhouse. This is not our area. Country music is not. If you're listening to us and asking about country music, you are listening to the wrong goddamn show.
Well, Ivan knows a little bit about Hank Williams, but
yeah, what does Ivan know about Lady Antebellum?
I know that George Jones song. I think I'll just stay here and drink. That's about it.
I'm an Okie from Muskogee. Yeah, I mean, I know my favorite country music. I mean, I like a lot of the older music. I like a lot of the stuff. Yeah, some of the country politan that happened in the 60s, 70s, the 80s thing. Then it just went into so many different directions, but
yeah,
just
I know I like Old Town Road.
Well, I mean, because, I have played, all country sets. In fact, I had the Logan Arcade. I had the Logan Arcade hoedown on the first Sunday of the month.
It's a hoedown.
You were wearing
the
like
Logan Arcade hoedown.
I've been dressed like a hee-haw cast member.
There are pictures. There are pictures with me in a hat. Go on my page. You'll find them, and they're right there. Yes, please.
Hop along, Ivan.
Oh my goodness! You make this sound like it's such a terrible thing. Come on.
It is. It's country.
No, it's not.
Was it like a bright yellow hat?
It's like that scene in the Blues Brothers. We got two types of music: country and western. Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
You put the chicken wire up at Logan Arcade?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, seriously.
Wow.
Bob's Country Bunker.
Okay, enough of the puddles. Okay, I get it. All right, easy.
Yeah.
We're not country western folk on this show. We keep
that's fine, and that's fine. Okay, all right, but
unless it's going to be like Carrie Underwood, in which case I got to be careful because can't piss her off. I don't need my car keyed.
No.
Seriously. I mean, like Kelly Clarkson apparently
carve her name into your leather seats.
Yeah, that stuff. All I know is Kelly Clarkson apparently got either separated or divorced or something like that. All I know is I've seen her videos when she talks about being pissed off about a lover. If I were that guy, I would run like hell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean that's basically what her career is. All of her misfortunes put out there for everybody to
I remember when she first trying to get into the scene, and there was some conflicts with her record label because she wanted to do other types of music, but
That was later on.
Does she still have her talk show?
Yes.
Yeah. The middle of the night? So. Yeah, I think so.
No, it's not in the middle of the night.
It's not a daytime talk show?
It's a daytimer. They've been running it daytime. I think the problem is COVID-19 happened. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I can't have studio audiences no more. Yeah, and you hear these stories about, like, what Ellen's doing for, like, her staff or whatever, like, man. Finding out, like, Ellen's turning on, like, I guess the shine is off the rose where people are finding out, like, Ellen is not a nice person.
Kind of like what happened with Steve Harvey, when they moved, where he decided, oh, yeah, there's this little note here. I don't want anybody to be involved with it. But, yeah, if you happen to get involved with it, do what it says.
Okay.
Yeah, that whole thing that got put in Robert Feeder locally in Chicago. Or Steve Harvey got his butt whooped. Yeah.
Yeah, he got his ass kicked. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
That was shit.
Holy shit, how much time? Okay, wow. Oh, wow. You're
yeah,
not
we're
kidding.
Almost 2 hours in.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah.
The best time, aren't we, folks?
Yeah, man. Awesome.
Yeah, man. Okay.
This started really poorly. It really did.
I think it got better. We got better.
But just a tad bit of rehearsal, we ended up getting better. Yeah. So here we are. So how would they find us, good sir?
We're on Instagram and Twitter at SOTRT Podcast. We're on YouTube. Click the bell, subscribe. You get when we get new content. You'll get new content as well because it's all free to you, the awesome listener that you are. And if you're listening, why don't you tune into Ivan's Twitch channel and you'll get some great DJ music, great tunes from Ivan. It's Jivan Ivan. It's Javan. That's Java Ivan on twitch.tv or download the app. And of course, you can find these crazy stories from our sister show, our sibling show, News of the Squared. Shout out to Scott.
Scott! Wow.
And you can listen to this show on most of your podcast hosting platforms are Apple, Google, Spotify, PodBean, Anchor. And email us if you like with questions, comments, or whatever. We refer we admire any type of attention. SOTRTpodcast@gmail.com.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us here at the Squares of the Round Table. I'm Jivan Ivan with my cohorts Mike and Jeff. We bid you goodbye.
Gotta
Take
find
care.
a
Be safe.
Plum.
Have some toasted
Take care,
plums.
man.
Toasted plum.